This is Grace Nasrallah from Biz Reflections, and today's topic is Mother's Day. Mother's Day is an occasion that is celebrated around the world to show respect and to express honor for the many contributions that mothers offer to society. It is a day to acknowledge the role of mothers in influencing humanity and to say thank you for the time and effort mothers invest as they provide care for their families. This Mother's Day, I would like to send greetings to mompreneurs who work hard to excel in playing multi-roles at home. Some may have left successful corporate careers so that they can be with their kids, and at the same time they may have established a small enterprise at home so that they can continue to contribute for their expenses. Other moms may have left a good job so that they can care for a child with disability. We can list many situations where mothers put their children and families first, not because they have to, but because of their motherly instinct and lots of love. This Mother's Day, I would also like to remember mothers that have fallen victims of their circumstances and that have had to leave their kids. I would like to salute them and send them hugs of support. This past month, I met with a few mompreneurs and I chatted with them about this special day, and here is what they said.
I was shocked at the amount of hair she had, to be honest. But beyond that, it was just this feeling of, well, combined with exhaustion, it was this feeling of total shock at this beautiful little person that was all of a sudden here.
So I think the fact that she was there, she was healthy, and just grateful, but honestly really tired. Tired is the first word that comes to me.
Oh, I'm getting so emotional just just trying to bring that. I was scared, actually. It was like a combination of joy and fear. I know that sounds like a weird combination, but it was joy and fear. Joy because this little person that I had been waiting for 9 months and gone through all these kind of ups and downs of things was finally here. The moment was finally here. And then fear about like, oh my goodness, I am responsible for an entire human.
I saw Natalie, the midwife was holding her, and I said, okay, she must be cold, put something on her.
When I saw my baby for the first time, it was kind of reminiscent of the Grinch that stole Christmas when he found Whoville on Christmas Day. My heart grew 3 sizes too big.
I don't know if I can ever explain that feeling, but it was really calm. There was something about that particular moment that was like, it was a really calm moment. There was so much happening around. But I think it was just peace and calm at that time. And I was just looking at him, still crying. I remember the tears kept on coming in, kept on coming out. And I don't know why they were. I was not in any kind of pain or anything at that time, but it was just pure calm, I would say.
Able to talk to older people, younger people, just being able to, make friendships, no matter where she goes, where she is. She's just able to do that. I do see that similarity in her,
I have one daughter who's turning 18 in a couple of days, actually, and many people say how much she is very much a mini me. I see it in her appearance and in several of her characteristics as well.
I do. I see lots of similarities. I always try to empower my children. I look back at the childhood that I had and I think to myself, okay, what could I have really used then, and how can I raise my children in a way that, you know, the things that I thought I was missing, I could give to them. And this has nothing to do with material things. And it was really about empowerment. So my children are very empowered. As I become more empowered as a grown-up or an adult, they are definitely very empowered. My oldest daughter is such an advocate. She's so passionate and kind. My oldest son as well. All of them actually are very similar to me. Even one that I did not give birth to. She is a stepdaughter, which I don't even think of her like that. And she is now really taking on a lot of characteristics and I guess values and such that I embrace, and it's really nice to see, because some people say that she is my child and she's just like me, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Oh yeah, a lot. When she was very young, she looked exactly like my husband, and the more she grows and she develops her own mind, she looks like me, she talks like me sometimes, she thinks like me. Even our tastes of clothes and makeup and all of that is becoming very similar. I always say that I'm becoming my mom, and then she said, yes, I can see you becoming Teta, and now I'm becoming you.
Physically speaking, I feel that he's got my smile, though my husband just agrees to disagree to that. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, like, I have all my life been a very picky eater, and I did not want my son to be that. So right from the beginning, I tried, okay, eat this, try everything and all that. But eventually, he's just turned out exactly like me. If he doesn't want to eat anything and it is still on his plate, he will be like, change the plate, I don't want it. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, he is so like me that way, you know. So that is one similarity I see. The second similarity I see is that he is very clear in his head, even at this age, as to what he wants.
Yeah, I think some similarities for sure are sense of adventure for one of my kids. We would both have that in common. And maybe in another one of my kids, I see maybe lack of patience in general, which again, we have to have in common. Of course, as we age, we hope we mature and, you know, use those things to the best of our ability. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even talking about physical attributes. I'm talking more about characteristics.
Well, I would say one of the most challenging things is I am a solo parent. So having everything on my shoulders is probably the biggest challenge, and questioning whether or not, you know, I am raising a good human being.
Giving him as much attention as he wants, because working and the kind of work I am into, I am like constantly working. When we discussed this, we were talking about this, that I almost am working like 12, 14 hours in a day. So in that period, I have to pay attention to him also. I have to make sure that if he needs me, I am there around him and all that. So that is, I think, the most difficult part for me at this point in time.
Letting my children be their most authentic self without putting any of my limiting beliefs, trauma, childhood experiences, you know, negative experiences on them.
How to juggle everything, so everything the priority, I can manage my priorities and focus on my priorities.
It's the hardest job I've ever done. Absolutely. It's also, bar none, the most rewarding job I've ever done. I think that one of the most challenging things, and I'll speak to maybe just more an option of when my kids have gotten older. So I have 3 kids, 2 girls and a son, and young adults. My girls are at this point 20, 23, and my son is 15. As they've aged, one of the challenges I've gone through as a mom is letting them be their own person. So, and what I mean specifically is allowing them to fail, allowing them to make maybe the wrong decision. And yet, we all had to do that, and we learn and we grow from that. But it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch that as a mom sometimes.
So being able to be, open and still, find that common ground between me and my daughter and say, hey, you know what, you're right. Maybe I need to think this through. Maybe I don't have to, do the same thing that, my grandma did or my mom did, So I think that's something that I find is really interesting, because it's unlearning and then again learning something totally new, in a different way.
So I feel like, that statement doesn't really, not that it doesn't ring true, but it's really unfair, because, you might see your kids, you might be out all day doing something for your business, and then see them for 10 minutes. And it's like those 10 minutes, you're so connected, you're so loving and kind. And, out of the whole day of things that child did, those 10 minutes, what is they kind of put it inside of them, right? Like they hold on to, and they know, who you are as a mother towards them. So I don't feel like the unfair statement.
I say that there's time for everything that's important to you, and it's a matter of making the time. So there are only 24 hours in a day, and you just need to be able to prioritize things and set boundaries. Like with my business, I got to the point where I'm like, weekends are family time, and I have given myself set business hours as if I was working for a corporation and having to go into an office every day. So I set my business hours and I have my family hours, and I think that's important for anybody who is going into entrepreneurship, whether they're a parent or not.
It depends on the priority, and the priorities shift between work and home and child. Sometimes my priority would be my work, it is true, but then I make sure that Natalie is taken care of. Sometimes the priority will shift to taking care of Natalie. Then I need to make sure that work is taken care of, or I do whatever is really necessary for me to be able to take care of Natalie. So it depends on the priorities at any time.
Oh, I think for me personally, it's the opposite. I am a mompreneur because it allows me to spend time with my kids more than if I was working full-time in an office setting or a virtual office setting where I had certain set hours. So for me, I've heard that too, Grace, and I can certainly understand, because you are it, right? You are doing it all for your business, regardless of what kind of task it is. So I understand, and I think also, we all want to succeed at what we're doing. So it's very easy, and I share this too, very easy to be sort of pulled into your business 110%. And so therefore, where is your time? But I think, I don't know, maybe it's as I've aged. I certainly am passionate about my business, but I do it because it allows me the flexibility to hang with my kids, when they need me, and maybe even when they don't need me. So yeah, I that's what I love about being a mompreneur. I can do both.
So yeah, we don't get too much of time with them, and but we make sure that whatever little time we get, we spend with them throughout. It's not that there are not other things going on in my mind when I'm playing with my child. It's not that nothing is going on in my head with respect to, oh, my client said this, or nothing's going on in my head with respect to, oh, I was supposed to cook food. But those things are still there on my mind. But when I'm playing with him, I know he wants to play with me. I know he likes it when I read him his bedtime story. No matter, I don't know how many times have I read that story every day. But I know that's what he needs from me. And even if I just get 15 minutes with him before his bedtime, that's good enough.
I don't think that there's one formula that works for anybody, or at least for us, at all the times. Meaning, what worked for me, let's say, a year back is not working for me right now, because I'm in a completely different position, and my role and my responsibilities are different in that capacity. So I think it's just being able to accept it. And if I feel a guilt, I'm like, hey, what else can I do? Can I do maybe a special breakfast on Sunday morning and cheer her up and kind of compensate for that in some capacity? Or can we maybe take a longer afternoon walk and do something fun in the park, things like that, right? So I think just being able to say, this is not going to work. I know it. Let's do something else that will compensate for it. Most of the times, I think, being able to even talk to my partner helps me, because he's like, okay, it's not that bad, or we can do this, things like that. So having that support in your partner is also important, especially if you're kind of second guessing yourself, in that moment.
Mom to me is a blessing. And it's a miracle, and it's a privilege that many unfortunately are denied. So I am very grateful to have been given the role of mom.
It makes a great person to be a mom, to give all that love and care.
For my relationship with my mother, I can say that she's the most selfless person in my life. She always wants me to be, happy and safe, and just, really in a position where I'm growing, personally, and in every other area. So, and she has made, I don't know how many sacrifices. Some I know now as an adult, some I would never know, and I think, what a beautiful relationship, But I think as a mother myself, I feel that there's only one person in the entire world who has seen me from inside, right? That's my child.
So when I think of the word mom, I think of mother, and in terms of mother nature and what I would call the divine feminine, that inherent gift that a mother has to nurture, to be empathetic, to be compassionate, to be loving, to be kind, to be generous. These very feminine qualities that exist and that we see out in nature, the way that Mother Nature takes care of all of her bounty, I would say, and the same way that moms, everywhere try to take care of their family and their children.
Yeah, a mom is a punching bag, a problem solver, somebody you just want to cuddle with no matter anything, and you want to bug her as much as you can, and she'll still love you unconditionally.
But being a mom is a huge role. I can't think of anything more important, really, than helping to shape little people into beautiful older people as they age, and at each stage, right? At each chapter, they're their own person. But the role of the mom is huge, and I am humbled by it daily, and I love it as well. It's a really big responsibility.
I want to end with a quote by Susan Gale that says, "Mothers are like glue. Even if you cannot see them, they're still holding the family together." Happy Mother's Day, To each one of you and to moms of the world. Before I leave you, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to click the bell button so that you can get notified of the latest video updates.